Okay, hello everyone. Hope you're having a lovely weekend. So Medlink Students has decided to organize this virtual conference for you guys to give you insight on studying medicine abroad as well as also online. In this conference, you'll learn about the opportunities available for you, and we'll give you all the information that we have about studying medicine online and abroad, and you'll be able to ask as many questions as you like. Today, we have a great lineup for you of great speakers who are doctors, students, and expert student advisors who are currently helping hundreds of students just like you study abroad. They are ready to share all their experience and knowledge to help you make a confident decision on what is best for you. So with us, we have Dr. Sam, who is the founder of Medlink Students. We also have Victoria, who is an admissions expert, who always ensures that your file has the highest chance of getting the best possible outcome with regards to the university's decision. We also have Edmund, who is an expert student advisor who helps students, thousands of students every year study abroad. We also have with us students who are Amy, Hani, Christina, and Ben and Babar, who will also be giving you insight on their experience of how it's been like studying medicine at Dnipro Medical Institute. Some of them have studied online and some of them have studied in person. So we've had lots of questions from you guys. We've decided to put this presentation together to answer all your questions, concerns, and inquiries, to make sure that you will have a clear picture on everything that you need to know with regards to studying medicine, so you can make the best decision on what is best for you and eliminate any concerns that you have about studying medicine online or in person. So we'll talk about Dnipro Medical Institute, which has been the #1 most popular university for studying medicine abroad and online. Plus, we'll discuss also the online program and the structure. We'll also discuss the admission requirements and the tuition fees and everything else that is involved as well. Plus, at the end, we will have a Q&A where you can ask as many questions as you like, and we will answer them for you. So this is the team here who will be in today's presentation. So we are Medlink Students. You probably have known us because we've helped thousands of students every year study medicine abroad. We are a group of doctors and students who've put together this organization to help people like yourself and advise you based on honest and transparent advice. We have advisors for every single university with regards to whether it's at Dnipro or whether it's another university as well. We have experts who will discuss always with you studying and programs and everything that you need to know. So I would like to ask Dr. Sam to discuss more and tell us a little bit more about how we can help you achieve your dream. Dr. Sam, I believe you're muted.
Yep. Hi guys, how are you? And I hope you're having a nice weekend. I see Osman has summed up pretty much everything that we do in here, so there's not much more for me to say. But overall, the idea in our organization is not just to help students find places for medicine, because there are several now organizations doing that. But our idea and our aim has always been to help help students become great doctors. And that's why we try to be different from other agencies by not just helping you find the perfect university for yourself that suits you and fits your needs, from the city you live in, how crowded it is, how busy you like it, or if you like a silent, quiet kind of student city. to the university that kind of fits your learning habits or your, for example, some of your hobbies. Like if we try to find people universities near the beach if they like water skills, or if they like water sports, or in the mountains if they like skiing and going through the forests and things like that. But we've tried to be unique by the fact supporting the students throughout the 6 years of their education. So being there for them, because we are like doctors or previous medical students who've been through year one, year two, year three, and we've met those specific teachers that you probably would find a little bit annoying or different. We've met some of the problems you might have or the technical issues abroad. So you'll be kind of supported by someone who's been through what you're going through. So they will understand you, they'll empathize with you, and they will for sure have that empathy and support you as much as possible throughout your medical university, and ensure that you complete it and you have a wonderful experience, not just sacrificing going abroad for 6 years just to become a doctor. We want people to go to become a great doctor, as well as having a wonderful experience and sharing it with future people, and hopefully helping us as well help future generations go abroad and explore the world, because there are a lot of places you can explore and we sometimes limit ourselves. And we're encouraged when we see other people that have been through a specific path and became doctors, and we want to encourage students to inspire other students. So that's why always called ourselves, we're a company made by the students for the students. And that's why what makes us unique, we are there for you throughout your whole medical journey until you even find a place back home or in a particular country if you want to go abroad to practice medicine, until we ensure you've had your first salary, and then we let you go. And we try to maintain a good relationship with everyone. So now I guess you'd want to know a little bit about some students who are currently studying. And Hani is one of the students who's really embraced Dnipro. He's found in Ukraine. He's been over there. He kind of, when he comes back to the UK, he misses it and he can't wait to go back. And he's been involved with a lot of activities. So I'll let him come in and speak about his experience and share basically for us. And he'll be able also to give some insight on the difference between last year he studied on campus and this year he's studying online. So he'll be able to tell you the difference and some of the positives or benefits of studying online. So Hani, you can come in.
Hi everyone, I'm Hani. Sam introduced me nicely. I've been studying Dnipro Medical Institute. I'm in my second year now. I joined in first year. When I came to Dnipro, I made sure I involved myself quite quickly. And actually with the help of Medlink, I met some people at the office, and from there it just kind of blossomed. I kept meeting people, kept getting myself involved. What I found is quite important is, it's one of the qualities of being a doctor. You have to be confident, you have to put yourself out there, you have to communicate with people, learn the language, don't be shy to talk to, the strangers or the locals. So on top of the whole medical studies, I managed to find myself sports to get engaged with. For example, I joined the MMA club. I've joined the gym. And also, thankfully, with the help of other students, we set up our own student union in the university. So it's always possible to keep yourself busy and having fun and occupied. And it's just very important you make your connections and surround yourself with the right people. And there's plenty of good people in Dnipro, plenty of British students you can have fun with and get around with. In terms of last year being in campus, and actually spent a month on campus this year as well, and versus online. I mean, myself, I prefer to be on campus because I'm just an outgoing person, but you do get benefits of being online. For instance, you get a lot more free time. You don't have to travel from place to place and get ready in the mornings. You can spend more time studying, focusing on yourself. Let's say if you want to, get a new hobby, become more in shape. I've lost a lot of weight recently. So yeah, I'd say on that, and the online, obviously every university is going to struggle a bit with online, but I've been happy with how my teachers have approached it, and they're trying their best with the situation. And that online portal has made it much, much easier and much better. But yeah, we've made the best out of online. Even though I'm an outgoing person, I prefer to be in the classroom. We're making the best out of it, and we're learning.
Hani, what would you say is one of the benefits of online that you've enjoyed?
Say the main benefit is I get a lot more time for myself. So let's say I do my 3 hours of studying a day. A lot more, I guess, more freedom. Freedom, I guess, is the best way to put it. Let's say if there's this lecture that I'm already comfortable with, I can just put it in the background while I'm studying something else. Or, you know, having to travel somewhere to campus or whatever, that saves me time, keeps me indoors more, a bit more focused on my studies. Yeah, that's the main thing, freedom.
So you have more time to study. That's kind of good.
More time to study, more time for yourself, yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That's good to have more free time. Okay, then. And shall we go to the next slide, guys?
Okay, brilliant. I also wanted to, thanks for sharing that, Hani. I also wanted to get Christina's opinion, as well, as Christina has been the head of the SU, and Hani being the co-head of the SU, which is the student union at Dnipro Medical Institute. They've been supporting the students and liaising with the students. So Christina, would you be able to expand on the extracurricular activities that the student union has been offering to students in person and online as well?
Hi. So yeah, I'm head of the student union with Hani, and we have a lot of other students involved. Obviously, we all know that 2020 has been hit by the pandemic, and as such, we haven't been able to implement as many in-person activities as we wanted to. We had a lot of plans for Freshers Week, where we spent a week with the first years and new students, taking them around Dnipro, various restaurants, bars, you know, the beach and all of that. But unfortunately, due to the pandemic, a lot of our in-person activities had to be put on hold. But you can expect that next year we will definitely be implementing them, such as Freshers Week. We want to introduce a DMR's Got Talent, some form of a med ball maybe is on the cards, as well as debates and meeting of the Ukrainian students as well. So there's a lot of things for in person, but they've been put on hold. However, our team has worked really, really hard during this lockdown to still involve the students during online activities. So we've had the introduction of extra online anatomy classes. So students every Saturday are taught by Dr. Igor to brush up on their anatomy, and students from first all the way to sixth year attend these classes. We've also, with the help of Medlink, introduced Croc 1 lessons. So students who are preparing to write the Croc 1 exam now have access to free structured lectures, I think every Thursday with Dr. Abdullah, and it's a great preparation tool for Croc 1. And this again is open to any students from the first 3 years, as well as those who are repeating the exam. So we've done that. And then just recently, our events committee has introduced a emergency aid workshop sessions. So far, we've already had 3, and we cover how to treat emergency medical situations such as anaphylactic shock, heart attack, stroke, seizures, excessive bleeding, etc. So we've really kept the students involved, and we also plan to do so going forward. The head of our societies and sports, JP, is busy going through the process of confirming the different sports clubs that are going to be available. So hopefully by next year, we'll have netball, soccer, basketball, swimming leagues, and societies, everything from debating and chess all the way to Tamil societies or the African Caribbean societies are going to be implemented. And we also have involved the students in a lot of charity work. So right now we're focusing on St. Nicholas Day, and we've paired with Dr. Igor to help donate items in need to people who are obviously disadvantaged. So we are busy collecting items for St. Nicholas Day in the form of mugs, pencils, stationery, food, as well as monetary donations. So yeah, we're keeping the students as actively busy as we can, given the current situation.
Wow, you're doing a great job, Christina, in such a limited world at the moment, with many things being closed, and that's very nice and generous of all of you guys over there to be helping out the disadvantaged people over this period, because it's been a tough period on many countries, especially developed countries, let alone other like Eastern countries and stuff. So well done on that, and congratulations. We're proud of all of you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, brilliant. Thanks for that, Christina. I'd like to introduce you guys to Dnipro Medical Institute. So since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic in Europe, it's been inevitable to reach a stage where we had to look for alternative ways to study medicine and to keep students safe while also gaining the knowledge and pursuing their dream. When it became clear where things were going wrong, the Dnipro Medical Institute was the first in Europe to come up with a quick strategy to adapt to the COVID-19 pandemic, so students would still be able to pursue their dream while also getting a high quality education. So Dnipro is globally recognized as a medical school in Europe, as well as also the world. And it's been founded since 1993, so it's a very well-established and experienced institution with regards to teaching and adapting to changes and being flexible towards students, no matter where they come from. So that has attracted thousands of students from the UK, Canada, Australia, Ireland, USA, and so many other countries as well, like South Africa, like where Christina is from. So especially because of the tuition fees and also the good quality and flexible education that is offering at the moment. So studying medicine in Dnipro is an excellent option for students whose dream is to become doctors. But students who want affordable and quality education can be sure that this is where they can get this. So with regards to Ukraine, it doesn't really matter anymore whether students study abroad or in Europe or in the UK or in Bulgaria or in the EU, because the advantage that Dnipro offers is that it is a lower fee with a lower also cost of living. And compared to the EU, it is a very similar style of education. On this note, I'd like to ask Christina as well with regards to the difference between EU and non-EU degrees. Does it matter too much nowadays?
So as we all know, the Brexit period is ending on December 31st, the transition period. And as such, the GMC has come out with a new statement saying that everyone who graduates within the next coming years will both the EU and the non-EU students, so everyone who's an international medical graduate, will both be required to write the PLAB, or after 2024, the MLA. So previously, students obviously graduating from a non-EU country would have to write the PLAB, and that was an extra hurdle that we all saw as. But by the time majority of us graduate, so those applying now, and those who are set to graduate before 2023 will all have to write the PLAB and then the MLA after 2024. And further to note this, in 2024 and 2025, during that period, UK medical students will also be required to write the MLA in their final year of graduation. So it's putting everyone on the same playing field after that is implemented. And then with regards to the dentistry students, as you know, they have to write the ORE. And with the ORE, the GDC has been given a 2-year window period to restructure their guidelines. And by the time all of the dentist students graduate, they will also be required to write the ORE regardless of whether they were from the EU or the non-EU countries. So I know that was a big hurdle for a lot of students, whether or not they should choose a non-EU country, was whether or not they had to write the PLAB. But now, regardless, everyone will be writing the PLAB or the MLA, even if you are a UK medical student as well.
Yeah, thank you for that, Christina. That's very insightful. If you guys have any questions about this, you can contact us as well. So lots of students have flocked to Dnipro in the past few years, and this was the most recent graduation that we had. We are very proud of our students this year. Specifically, we had a huge batch of students, and as you can see, students always flock to Dnipro from all sorts of backgrounds, no matter what age they are, what ethnicity or what nationality they are. You can see there's lots of students from every corner of the planet. And every single one of these students has been able to go back to their country and pursue their career in medicine and work as a successful doctor, which has been a huge pride for our students as well as us, because that is exactly why we started this organization, because with the sole purpose of helping students graduate and be able to go back to their countries. So that will take me to the next slide, which I would like to ask Edmund about. Edmund is one of our expert student advisors who has spoken to hundreds and thousands of students from all over the world. He's helped students from Canada, USA, UK, Ireland, Australia, and so many countries. So he's very experienced at advising students and making sure students are fully informed so they can make the best decision for themselves. Lots of students have asked us, how can I get accepted at Dnipro? So I'd like to give that platform to Edmund to explain and go into more details about this.
Thank you, Osman. Thank you everyone for joining us tonight and spending your Saturday evening with us. Now, one of my work as an expert advisor is to speak to students every day, understand their story, and essentially find them the perfect university for them. So I speak to students from the US, from the UK, Australia, all over the world, really to understand what they've studied, where they've come from, what's really motivated them to want to pursue medicine. And also the requirements of actually going to the universities, because you go to one university's website, you'll see all the requirements. It gets quite confusing, overwhelming. So we never really turn down any student, no matter what grades you really have. And in terms of finding out what you have, most of the universities tend to want a students that, you know, studied the basic science, so the biologies, the chemistries, the physics. Now, even if you don't have that, or the A levels in the UK, for example, we can look at options of finding you the right university for you. Now, in terms of going abroad, in terms of the tuition fees for the online classes, you're looking at anything from £5,000 per year if you're an undergrad student. Now, this would include everything from your online classes, the whole online experience for you, right at your fingertips. You also have your study materials, your timetable there for you. You also have books online to download. So essentially, you're going to have an online experience from right at your home. You'll have the flexibility to study at home as well. And you'll have the Zoom meetings, the lectures, the Google Class. It's just like being at university, but essentially at home. And you have that flexibility to, well, save some money on your living costs as well. This way you can decide, okay, if I want to go out there for the first semester, do the first semester online, or maybe go out there for the second semester. The university has made it quite flexible for you to be able to then decide how you want to study. And it's actually quite good for you. Now, in terms of the actual requirements also for graduate entry students, obviously the tuition fees are going to be slightly high. Now, this is so you can equivalate the subjects you've done before, so you can go into the higher year possible. But the online section has been great so far. And in terms of students that I speak to, understanding what they have, understanding their requirements, and really what's important to them and what they're looking to achieve, so we can help them find the perfect university for them. So this will be great for students who really want to get started into medicine, but not sure whether to go out there, nervous about starting, and not sure what the requirements are. We will speak to you and we will help you find the perfect one, whether it's Dnipro or whether it's any other perfect university that suits you the best.
Okay, thank you for that, Edmund. So Victoria has worked really hard to support the online students, and liaise between Dnipro Medical Institute and the students to achieve the most efficient and best quality education online. So Victoria, would you be able to tell us about the quality of the online studying?
Yes, of course. So the quality of education here at the Dnipro University meets the global standards of modern medical education, which means the university follows trends in higher education closely to be up to date with the latest technological advancements and teaching practices. The technological innovation that appeared at Dnipro and is very popular amongst the students is obviously the online portal. So online portal is a specially designed website that provides students with online lessons, attached PDF files for every subject and lesson, exams, quizzes, supporting documentation, classes, timetables, many more for the comfort of the student to study online at home. So doctors and dentists will teach this flexible and full-time program. It is designed specially for online students to ensure the smoothest learning experience. From working and talking to students every day, I have noticed that the most common question when it comes to online studies are about teaching and the quality. So firstly, let me tell you about the difference between online and classroom learning. So the first essential difference is the classroom management. We all know that the smaller the class is, the smoother the learning will be. Since the teacher won't be distracted, your classmate won't be chewing out loud, and there won't be any sound of a ticking pen. Alternatively, when studying online, the size of the classroom is unlimited, and the lecturer can focus mainly on delivering the seminar for you. If we could just go to the next slide. There is also evidence to suggest that online learning facilitates a higher level of effort from the student. Online learning presents itself to self-direct your learning, which means it's up to you on how long to spend reviewing the given material and learning at your own pace, which will gain you a deep understanding of the course content. So the quality is definitely better from the side of the teaching, since the teacher can deliver the lesson directly to you. It does depend on you, though, how serious you are and how organized you are to study medicine. So we've got one of our students here, Amy. She's one of our graduate students who started from third year last September online. Amy, if we could ask you, how have you found the quality of online studying recently?
Hi there, everyone. Yeah, so as Victoria said, I started in October the online learning for Dnipro Medical Institute as a graduate entry into medicine. So far, it's been great. And I have to say, over the past 2 months, it's definitely improved as well, because at first, everyone was just getting into it, like getting used to learning online, the whole platform. So definitely over the past 2 months, it's improved, but it's not as it was bad at the start. It was still good, but everyone's just got into like the rhythm of it, if that makes sense. So I've had a really positive experience so far. Yeah. And so as you mentioned, we've got the portal now, so that's like pretty much fully up and running now, which has been great, because I was really worried about how to organize myself online, and the portal literally has everything you need, even from year 1 to year 6. So I started obviously into year 3, but I can still look back at all the resources from year 1 and 2 if I'm struggling on a particular subject. The portal has all the subject resources, the timetable. You can submit homework through it as well. So that's really been great. And a lot of lecturers have also been using Google Classroom, which is a really good platform where teachers can also use Google Forms to set you homework, and they can also upload all the resources there and section it very neatly as well. And it's a really easy way to know what work you've completed, what neat things you need to catch up on. And you've also got Google Meet, which is a great way as well. We can communicate with the lecturers. And it's really quite organized. We've got WhatsApp groups for basically our classes and all our different subjects as well, which was one of the negative things when I first started. It was a bit overwhelming with all the different subjects, and I took a gap year, so I was a bit I wasn't in study mode. But when we got those group chats up and running, it was really good to be able to communicate with other students, especially on the graduate program. You're with so many different people with different backgrounds, degrees. So they've been really helping me. Some people with like pharmacology degrees, biochemistry, nursing and everything. So I found that really good. Because personally, I didn't think I would like it because of COVID and everything. And I'm really, a bit like Hani said, I'm more of an outgoing person. I like to learn face to face, but I've just tried to adapt myself to learning online. And now my Google Calendar literally just gets me up in the morning and I know what I've got to do. So it's all about really getting used to the technology, getting yourself organized from that way. And then, yeah, everything just falls into place really. But I'm definitely looking forward to starting on campus, which I'm actually going to in January. And yeah, I've been making a vlog so far of my whole experience. And you can check this out. I have a YouTube channel. I'll put the link in the chat. And I'm basically going to be vlogging my whole medical journey through that. And if you want to know more about my experience, you can check it out and then see how learning online is and everything. And I definitely recommend the graduate program for people learning distant learning. If you've already got like responsibilities like family, you want to spend time in different countries, you can literally learn anywhere, guys. It's so cool. Just do it.
And how did you find for you to spend more time studying when you're studying online?
Well, obviously the Netflix app and like the tab is always there for Netflix, isn't it? But you just have to resist it, guys. I don't know. You have to. Yeah, it has been hard at first to get into the rhythm of everything. But like I said, and now I've just been using a Google Calendar to schedule my lectures. And I find actually timing how long I'll spend on a task, give myself an hour or 2 hours, set myself and give myself breaks. Because, yeah, although you've got the freedom, like Hani said as well, you got the freedom, but it's all about not cheating yourself in that way and not using Google too much.
Yes. Well, thank you very much.
They are
no worries. I'll put the link from my YouTube.
They are very lucky to get a chance to study on the beach. That's something that I never had.
Yes, guys. Yes, guys. I was in the Bahamas. It was like,
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you for that, Amy. That's a very important point as well that Amy brings up about discipline. This course is not for everybody. It's only for those that are really disciplined and that they believe that they can discipline themselves to study on their own as well and be independent. As long as you have the passion, then you will be able to survive and do it, because medicine, as you know, is a tough journey and studying medicine is not easy. But as long as somebody that's studying has the passion, has the enthusiasm and the commitment, then it is for these types of people only.
Sure. So if we could get the next slide, please. So another question that we often get is, where is the course recognized? And the answer is everywhere. So the only difference between a standard and digital course is where you attend. So it's online or offline. And quality of education at NIPRO meets the global standards of modern medical education degree, which means that degree, including the online degree, is recognized everywhere in the UK, Ireland, America, Canada, Australia, basically entire world. That's all from me. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that, Victoria. So because the university is listed in the World Directory of Medical Schools and recognized by this directory, which is a branch of the WHO, It means that the majority of the countries, especially Europe, Canada, USA, Australia, Ireland, will accept the degree, especially as well the toughest board with regards to accepting degrees, which is the California Medical Board. And even that has has accepted our graduates before. So it is a well-known degree. The university is almost 30 years old. The teachers are very experienced and it is trusted worldwide. So let's talk a little bit about the course and how the structure would be for those studying online. So the first 3 years of medicine are the theoretical years, and that's year 1 to 3. Whereas the clinical years start from year 4 to 6. So that's 3 years of theory and then 3 years of practical. So how it works with currently the online studies is that the theoretical studies can be taught online, but the practical studies where you need essential clinical experience must be taught in a hospital. And that is a flexible arrangement that I'll talk a little bit later on about. So currently the online studies, we've demonstrated a little bit of what we have on the portal. So we have presentations, we have pre-recorded videos from teachers as well. And we have 3D anatomy models that you can see here where you remove and dissect virtually the anatomy model. So the online course does have a compromise, of course, because you're not face-to-face with the teacher, but as much of that is reduced by having lots of engagement, lots of MCQ tests as well, which is multiple choice questions and answers, lots of videos and interactive pre-recorded videos as well. And on top of this as well, you have the chance and opportunity to have live clinical, preclinical classes with teachers. And these are professors who are the top of their field in that country, in Ukraine. So you'll be taught by them. You'll also have clinical cases where you discuss with them problem solving as well. You get a case, you discuss what you believe the problem would be. There's a variety of didactic teaching combined with problem solving as well. So the clinical years, this is year 4 to 6, can be done in Dnipro. Once you've finished the first 3 years online, whether you study from year 1 or you start from graduate entry students would start from year 3. So that would mean that you do year 1, 2, and 3 online, should you choose to, and you are always welcome to come to Dnipro if you change your mind as well. And then after this, we ask you to do your clinics, which is the most important and essential part of medicine. And these can be done in Dnipro, or they can be organized through a hospital in your town or city or country, as long as you do them and get them signed off and explain that you've done, for example, 6 weeks of internal medicine rotation, 6 weeks of gynecology, and so on. We also can help you organize these electives in the USA if you choose to take that up as well. So we have a variety of flexible arrangements where we try to accommodate you and try to help you as much as we can. And I'd like to bring in Dr. Sam as well, who, when he did his degree, in Romania, he organized for an elective in Sheffield. Would you be able to tell us a little bit more about how you organized it and how it went?
Yes, that's right. So while I was at university, I wanted to do one of my electives abroad. Well, actually, I did quite a few, but I'll speak about one as an example, so not to be in too much detail. So one of them was the gastroenterology. I wanted to attend that in a different country. The choice of mine was the UK. So I simply contacted the University of Human Resources and send them, they ask you for some documents. It's really straightforward. The documents they ask for are not like a test or something. It's just a letter from the university that you are in the current year you say you are in, and just some other identification and some papers, and the request form. You fill it up, you send it to them, and then you wait, and then they send it back the answer. And once you have that, you go, you attend your, for example, gastroenterology hours. You spend your hours every day on a gastroenterology ward. and you complete your rotation for, let's say, 4 weeks or 6 weeks or 8 weeks, depending on what you're doing. So for me, it was an 8-week rotation on gastroenterology and internal medicine. I completed that. I spent most of my days spending the morning with the consultant, and then after that I was free kind of to do what I want and speak with the patients, go with other doctors, learn like several different techniques like endoscopy, colonoscopy, develop my skills with the robot surgery. So I attended a lot of surgeries as well. And after that, I just simply signed a paper from the consultant. I attended and completed a certain number of hours on the ward, and I came, gave it back to university, and that was it. And that was my rotation done. So it's quite straightforward. All you have to do is contact your local. So if you want to do it, let's say in your local town, or you just contact the human resources department, ask them if they are a teaching hospital. They must be a teaching hospital as well. You can't just contact any hospital. As long as it is a teaching hospital, you can do that without any problem. A lot of hospitals actually welcome students, undergrads who are currently studying to come back and do the rotations, because they always like an extra pair of hands. Like something I had to do, for example, I had to always take all the bloods and ensure everyone's bloods were sent to the right labs and then get their results and put them in the computer. So that's kind of a bit of a nurse's job or a trainee doctor's job. So I had to do that, and that kind of took off a lot of pressure off them, because there's quite a lot of work to do. You had to like spend 10 to 15 minutes with each patient. So if you have 20 patients or 10 patients, that's around 2.5 hours. So any doctor would really kiss your hand, for example, for helping them out and taking this kind of load off them. So they're always welcoming, they're really nice, and they would help you. And the university as well accepts it where you're studying. So it's all good. So if you want to do a rotation, I don't encourage it. It's always good to go and do them in a different country, especially the country you want to specialize in. So after you want to graduate, if you want to go to USA, it's really good to have a couple of rotations under your belt, because you'll hit the ground running when you go. If you want to go to UK, same thing. If you want to go to Germany as well, it's really important because each country has a different system. There are some paperworks that need to be completed, so it's always good to be able to know how the systems work before starting as a junior doctor. I hope that covers a little bit about the elective and how they work. Also, regarding the elective, don't always worry about being in your hometown. The hospitals always provide accommodation for really cheap. For example, when I did it in Blackburn, I remember I paid like for 1 month of staying there, it was something like £200 or £180. So it was quite cheap for a month. You can really not find in the UK this kind of rent. I don't even think in Ukraine you can find that. So, so they are kind of helpful and good to you. So they do give you a lot of support.
Yeah, thank you for that, Dr. Sam. Another thing as well, an important topic would be to discuss, I think, before we move on, is the cost of electives as well. Now, you can organize an elective through a private company. However, you have to understand that if you're organizing it not yourself, through somebody else, then you have to pay a fee that is on top of the hospital's fee. Usually hospitals are quite cheap, and they don't cost that much, maybe 100 or 200 pound administrative fee. And that's just for administrative work that they have to do for 6 weeks, for example, on your behalf. And this is how we always advise our students to do it. Do it directly through the hospital, so you don't have to pay so much money on top of it, because of course you can do it through a company, and that would cost you thousands, maybe sometimes per year it costs you 14,000, let's say. But if you do rotations through a company for a whole year, I believe that's usually the normal cost. Whereas you can do and organize on your own through connections, through friends, or through organizing one elective and then getting to know the doctors and building a network through that and asking the doctors, can you help me organize another one? And usually it saves so much money. We always advise to do it that way, because we want you to have as much as possible for as little as possible from your side, so you don't have to pay so much. Okay, moving on to dentistry, which is an important topic as well. We've covered a lot about medicine. So with dentistry, the course is 5 years only. So the first 2 years are usually heavily theoretical, and then the third year contains a little bit of practice, but not as much. In the fourth year and the fifth year, that's when the clinics really start, and that's when the practicals get, it becomes heavily practical. And usually you'd be able to study the first 2 years online without any issues. And then the third year, you could study it online. However, you have to organize and come to an agreement about organizing some extra, a little bit of extra practical experience that you'd need. And you can get this additional information on what you need to organize from us by contacting us later on. So with the first 3 years, it is possible as well to study them online. However, the last 2 years are really essential for you because dentistry is a hands-on career, and that's when you get as much hands-on experience as you need in order to become a competent doctor. So you can go back to your country with confidence that you can do all the necessary clinical experience you need. With regards to the GDC, who are the regulatory body in the UK for dentists, you have to complete 1,600 clinical hours, and this is as long as you can prove that you've done this, and the university as well needs you to prove that you have done this, then you can graduate. So you can come back to the UK without any problems, or go back to any country as well without any problems, including the US and Australia and Canada. So the UK currently, as Christina said earlier on, the UK will be leaving the EU, meaning that it doesn't matter anymore whether you graduate from the EU or from non-EU countries. You still have to do a small test to prove that you are genuinely knowledgeable in dentistry. And as long as you genuinely passed your degree, then you have nothing to worry about. You'll have all the necessary information and knowledge to ace this exam. So I'd like to bring in our dental students. We'll start with Babar, who is a fourth-year dental student who pursued graduate dentistry last year. He's been in Dnipro 2 years now. So, Babar, are you with us?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, Babar. So, as a graduate dentistry student who's been in Dnipro for 2 years, how are you currently finding your fourth year?
Well, firstly, I'd like to thank you for having me. And also shout out to Edmund as well, because without him, I wouldn't be here. It was the best decision I made to come here. To be honest, I'll start with like how it started from the beginning. Dnipro is nothing like what you would expect. When you come here, you will truly realize like it's totally opposite to what you first imagined. My fourth year now, we're getting into our clinical years, so obviously we're getting more exposure to clinicals. For me, for the clinics started as soon as I came. I started in third year, second semester, and the clinics pretty much I went to. My first topic was therapeutic, therapeutic dentistry, and we were working on each other. We were doing scaling, cleaning, and even caries as well. Me personally, I had amalgam as well, so one of the students had the opportunity to take out the amalgam and put in composite so it would look better. So yeah, that was that. So I was surprised for the first time, that first lesson that I had, as soon as we got here, that I had to do clinics. But now in fourth and fifth year, obviously I'll become more and more exposure to it, as well as the university providing like exposure to clinics and patients. Medlink themselves, they're going to be providing extra supplementary clinics, so we get the chance to see patients and get more hours under our belt, which we will need for obviously the ORE. So as well as hours, it's good for experience as well, so you're more confident in doing your job when we go back to the UK or whichever country that you decide to go to. But yeah, in terms of the resources as well, the clinics, they're up to, they're very modern. The teachers, the lecturers, they're all doctors, they have their own clinics. They give you the opportunity to go with them. Obviously, if they see that you're a good student, you're keen in your work, you have the opportunity to ask them to basically shadow them as well. Even local dentists as well, you can go there and you obviously explain that you're in the university, and they're also very helpful as well. For me, I found that they allow me to, they will, obviously not now, but they will allow me to shadow them as well. So in terms of exposure in clinics and to actually get hands-on, there's plenty of opportunities here as well. But yeah, because obviously the pandemic now, it's online at the moment. Even the lessons online, obviously you get told about instruments and equipment and how to use certain things, procedures. Obviously they test you fully as well. So because obviously with dentistry, like Osman said, it's quite hands-on, so they need to make sure that you know what you're doing before you obviously get patients and things like that. So yeah, so far it's so good. I love it so much that I've not gone back to the UK yet. I've decided I might even just stay in the Ukraine.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you for that insight, Babar. If you guys have any questions for Babar or anyone else, you can send us a message or via the chat or the Q&A. So I'd also like to bring in Ben, who's another fourth year student. Ben started from year 1 and he's been in Dnipro for 4 years now. So Ben, could you tell us more about your experience on the course and how you found the teachers so far?
Yeah, sure. So as Barbara just mentioned, obviously with the 4th and 5th years, there's a lot of clinical exposures. In my first year when I came, I'd rather talk to you about my preclinical years because as Barbara's explained everything in regards to 4th and 5th year. So if I can remember, my memory's not that good. In my first year as I came, it was like all a blur. So I came here, got registered with the uni, met my group leader. He was very helpful, explained to me about all my subjects, what subjects. We had some subjects that were twice a week, like biology, chemistry. These are big content subjects. So we needed to do them twice a week. There were certain subjects like histology and Latin where we did once a week. So we had, and the way that worked was, I was kind of confused. I was thinking to myself, why do I have 2 subjects twice a week, and then some subjects I have once a week? And my group leader at the time, he was from Finland, his name was Awad. So he basically said to me, 1 week, so you do a cycle, so you do histology lecture 1 week, and then you'll do a seminar next week where the teacher will then give you an MCQ. But what they will do first to begin with, they will obviously explain what was said in the lecture. If you have any questions, if there's something that obviously you found confusing when you were trying to study it yourself, that's the best time to obviously explain to the teacher, oh, I'm having trouble with this. And then towards the end of the lesson, last 30, 20 minutes, you have a time limit of an MCQ. Now, these are topic tests. So you have 20 to 30 questions on MCQ. You have to get around about 75%. And it's everything that was taught to you in the lecture, so it's not that difficult if you just go and study it in your own time. So these topic MCQs that you have on a weekly basis is just so the teachers can see that you're keeping up to date with your work, so you're not falling behind. They keep a track on, like, if you've passed your MCQs. You can take them unlimited amount of times. You can redo them if you don't pass them. The teachers will tell you to come another day where they're free and you're free in between your lessons, and then do it again. Now, sometimes in your topic test, you might have oral examination. It all depends on the teachers. I remember in my chemistry lesson, I had an oral examination once, and the teacher just said it towards at the start of the seminar. So it was like last minute, everyone's preparing for an MCQ. And yeah, she just dropped, yeah, we have an oral today, and everyone just start looking at each other, you know. So they can change it. They can say to you, we have an MCQ, then they might say we have an oral. It's just to keep you on top, keep you on your tiptoes, because obviously as a medical or a dental student, you need to know your knowledge. Your theory is very important when you go back to the UK, obviously with stuff like, as Christina was saying, with the PLAB, and obviously with us guys, we're doing the ORE examination. We're going to have a theory test, and we're going to have a clinical part of the ORE. So this is just to prepare us for, you know, our UK examining board. So it's not a bad thing that they do that. It's actually quite good. I hated it at start. I was like, you know what, I've studied for MCQ and I've been given an oral, but you know, as you think about it, you think, you know, it actually will help you in the long run. So that's how that works. So then at the end of your year on your subject, so for example, I'm just going to use chemistry as an example. So in your first year, you will do chemistry, biology, histology, Latin, anatomy, and I can't even remember the other ones, but yeah. So at the end of the year, you have a subject examination. So you have the whole subject. So that's that will always be MCQ. I remember one time I had a written examination, but it was only with 2 questions. So they will set 2 questions, but majority of it's MCQ written. So it will cover everything that you've done from your topic tests. So all the MCQs that you did in your topic test may be repeated in your final examination. So these topic tests, as I said, it's very important because it's very important that you do them, very important that you learn it, because at the end, it will benefit you to pass your subject, whether you want to get a 5 or you want to get a 3. You know, it all will go into your credit book, and then obviously the GDC will request for this credit book to see what subjects you covered, what marks you got. They'll ask you questions. I know I've been told that there's a 2-3 hour interview with the GDC, and obviously they will ask you a lot of questions in regards to, you know, your lessons, obviously your theory, why you got a 3, why you got a 5, you know. So yeah, in regards to that, so first, second, I know Osman mentioned that the first 3 years is theory based. For dentistry, because it's a 5-year course, I'd say it's the first 2.5 years. So it will run up until your 3rd year, 1st semester. So after your 3rd year, 1st semester, that's all your theory done. Then you'll have your clinics. That's when Baba obviously joined us. He joined my group and he came into therapeutic dentistry with, obviously, we all started doing clinics. So that was an experience for him. And obviously it was an experience for everyone that was there in the 1st semester, because that was the first time we were doing our clinics. So obviously we start like these big subjects like pathomorphology, pathophysiology, pharmacology before the medical students do as well. So, you know, it's because obviously us guys, we have a 5-year course and the medics have a 6-year course. So they would start these subjects in the 3rd year. Us guys, we will start it in our 2nd semester, 2nd year. And then that will run all the way till our at the end of our 1st semester on our 3rd year.
Yeah, fantastic. Really thorough, Ben. I'm sure everyone really appreciates that. Thank you very much for being so thorough and addressing a lot of concerns here. If anyone has any questions, feel free to ask as well in the chat. So let's move on now to the Q&A. We'll ask, it seems a lot of questions are cropping up about the CROC. Now the CROC, I'll explain what the CROC is. The CROC is a exam that tests knowledge based on preclinical years and then clinical years. Now the preclinical CROC 1 exam is usually at the end of the 3rd year, and then CROC 2 exam tests your clinical knowledge. Now, this is usually done in an MCQ as well as practical format. The first CROC is testing your theoretical knowledge, so it will test you based on theory, and you'll be tested in 3rd year for that. You must be present in Dnipro in order to do that. It is impossible to do it from home, so you have to come and do that. You have to compromise a little bit and come do the exams in person, because it is a state exam, as the University of Dnipro Medical Institute is regulated by the government to make sure that it's providing you with quality education. It means that the government would like to know that you are getting the knowledge as well. So that's why you must sit the CROC exam. Now, it's not a tough exam. It's quite a straightforward exam. And as long as you prepare for it. Every exam is straightforward as long as you prepare for it, of course. So I'd like to ask one of the students, who is Christina in the 4th year. Christina has some experience with the CROC exam, and she has attended lots of study sessions and prepared very well for it, and is one of actually the only student who has made really thorough notes that are being used to teach CROC exam. So Christina, would you be able to expand a little bit about initially what your thoughts were about CROC, and then once you started revising for it, how you felt about it?
Yeah, no, sure, no problem. Initially with Croc, I think it was the same as everyone. We were like, we have to write an exam on 3 years worth of medical knowledge, and then we all freaked out. I remember messaging Edmund in like panic attack, saying like, what? But it really is, like Osman said, very straightforward. At the time, there wasn't a lot of information available when we started preparing for our Croc exam, but luckily now, like I said, the Student Union has come up with a nice document called Rock the Croc, and we have all of our links to different YouTube channels, Instagram pages. Yes, Instagram pages. There's Instagram pages where they post information, as well as notes, student tips, how to study, all of that. Me personally, my Croc journey consisted of originally attending Dr. Abdullah's Croc lessons, which Medlink have now collaborated with Dr. Abdullah, and he is now offering them for free to all students. I think we started 2 or 3 weeks ago, so they're on their 3rd lesson already for the next intake of Croc 1 exams. So I did his lectures, and then I compiled my own notes from his lectures, as well as every single Croc paper that has ever been written is available on the testing center, as well as now on the online portal. It's now been integrated into our online portal. So I went through every single one of the past papers, and every time I had an issue, I would make a question, do some research about it, and then I added those to my summaries. I also made key cards, like Anki key cards, to remember the high yield facts. For example, pharmacology has a lot of drugs that we need to know. But after doing multiple study sessions with my friends, as well as my own revision, I can confidently say that I was very, very prepared to write the Croc. I personally did the past papers, and when I did them, I got above 80% every time. So it's really not something that you need to stress about. If you're diligent, you study hard, and you follow all the advice that we gave in our documents, you should be fine.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you for that, Christina. Christina has been very heavily involved with helping as well with preparation material, and the SU in general has done a phenomenal job with looking after students and supporting you and making sure that you have as much resources as possible to make it as easy for you as is possible. So if you have any other questions, let us know. We seem to be getting a lot of questions about problem solving and how the teaching is. Now, like I explained earlier, some of the teaching would be didactic, meaning that you just listen to a teacher speak and explain to you a topic. And then later on, you would be discussing the topic with another teacher, for example. So I would like to bring in Amy for this, because it seems Amy has had some experience with this in internal medicine. Is that right?
Yeah, I only just recently started internal medicine, but the lecturer has been absolutely on it. So with her classes, she is absolutely so interactive. It's like you're actually in the room with her. I can't describe it. And she's got really good charisma. And the way she structures the class, it's like you're learning with her, if that makes sense. And it's kind of, you don't know what's coming. She'll have a presentation and she'll be going through that for a bit, but then she'll always at either the end of the class or throughout the class, she'll break it up and do different tasks with you. And she'll put the task on the screen and she'll get someone to read out the question, and then we will like debunk the whole question, picking out keywords, key facts from the question, and then put together an answer of how we would assess the patient. And it really breaks it down. And when I do this class, it's amazing. You finish the class and all the information just stays in your head. It's amazing. And the way she teaches. So that's a really good experience. And also she is really hands-on. When we're practicing, say using our stethoscope and auscultation, she'll be demonstrating on screen and we'll have to copy. She gets us to practice on our family, our pets. And yeah, she's really engaging in that way. I have a few other teachers that are like that as well, but I think the internal medicine teacher, she is really on point with that. And I think as the online learning grows and Medlink constantly gets feedback and the university gets feedback from us, then the online learning will improve like that as well. But it's already really great. Like I said, I finished a lecture and it's just, I know it already. It's really good. Very good.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Amy. It's really good to have teachers that are combining the teaching methods necessary to help you guys learn and maximize your potential as well on the course. Another question that has come up to Christina actually is it possible or is it impossible to prepare for the CROC 1 exam in 1 year only for the people who enter through graduate entry, or do you think that's going to be really difficult and impossible?
So you get a lot of students who either scare you saying it took them forever to prepare, or that they did prepare in like 2 weeks. At the end of the day, if you're entering into a graduate entry program, you should have a basic knowledge of the first 3 years of medicine. So you should have a basic understanding regardless of what your background is if you're entering into the graduate entry program. With that being said, if you realistically were to start studying for CROC, you could probably finish it within 6 weeks of dedicated learning. So a year is more than enough time to study for CROC. Like I said, there are so many resources available. There's so many consolidated like notes, summaries, like there are lectures, there are past papers, and it's like any state exam, you're going to have questions that repeat. So if you're able to understand the concepts, you are going to be able to answer 90% of those questions. So I wouldn't stress too much about having a whole year to prepare for CROC.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you, Christina. It's not impossible. It's not a tough exam. Every exam is tough unless you, if you don't prepare for it. But unless you prepare, then it's quite straightforward. I'd like to bring in Dr. Sam, if you'd like to add anything about your rotations. Lots of questions have come up on organizing rotations and organizing clinics. Is there going to be a huge difference if students do their clinics abroad or if they do it in the UK or in their home country?
Generally, universities are fine with you doing your clinic as long as you have a paper at the end signed by the head of department saying that you've completed a certain rotation or a certain specific, let's say, subject or award. For example, some things are kind of specific, like Amy was talking about internal medicine. So in order to do internal medicine, you'll have to be on an internal medicine ward, on a gastroenterology ward, on a cardiology ward, as well as a little bit of pneumology and other subjects. So it really all depends on what documents you can provide, but as long as you can provide to the university documents that you've completed these certain weeks of rotations, the universities are happy to do them. Now, a lot of the times students are wanting to do the entire year or entire semester, let's say in their country. Like for example, the UK, they want to stay in the UK for the 4th year, for example. So in that situation, what you have to do is you have to ensure that you can be on rotations throughout the whole year. And sometimes you cannot complete all the subjects that are on the 4th year. So what happens is the university will just shift those subjects that you couldn't manage to do rotations onto your 5th year. And then after that, you will do them for the 5th year in Dnipro, for example. We are currently at the moment in discussions and doing some collaborations with some UK universities in order to be able to access the hospitals. They are teaching hospitals where some of the students will be given the chance to actually complete their rotations for the whole year in the UK. However, that all depends on some of the answers we'll get from the GMC whether it will be okay, because for us it's very concerning that you don't just spend 3 years or 2 years, let's say, of your medical degree in the UK and then return and find that the GMC has an issue with it, and then you have to go back and redo them. I do encourage students to go abroad. Don't be worried about going abroad. Really, it's a wonderful experience. I was in your shoes. I was sometimes like, oh, I want to stay here. I have a job, or I don't want to go to another country, some place, you know, in Eastern Europe where it's raining and cloudy and horrible streets and horrible people. Don't have that thought. Do be encouraged to go abroad. You will love it. It is a great experience. It is an eye opener. You'll meet students as well from all over the place. Like Ben said, when he arrived, he met someone from Finland. Now, today, after me graduating abroad and studying abroad, really, I feel like I have a hand in each like around the whole globe, like in China, Japan, South Korea, Middle East, Turkey, UK, France, Germany, Sweden, Norway. Like, I have friends from everywhere because I've studied here, because I've done rotations all over the place. It really makes you well cultured and makes you enjoy life more. So don't be worried about going out to Dnipro and doing and attending hospitals over there, because as well, there's something very important to know. In those countries, you do have access to a large amount of patients, a lot of medical procedures, which you do not see in the UK, a lot of diseases, for example, that you hardly see in some regions in the UK, and they're considered as tropical, for example. And so that's why it's really important to go out there. But regarding the rotations, if you want to do them, they are possible. All you have to do is you have to speak with the teaching university in the UK, Germany, wherever you want to do them, and then just get a paper signed, present it to university end of the semester, and anything missing from the year 3 or year 4, whatever you are trying to struck off, you'll just move forward and you'll do it through your 4th year. And as I said, I hope some of the negotiations go well. We managed to collaborate with as many hospitals as possible to allow as many people as possible, especially the people with families who don't wish to travel. But if you're young and you have the opportunity to travel, I would not encourage you more to travel, to go, to enjoy, to meet people from all over the place, and expand your horizons, and it will increase your opportunities as well. You will no longer have that narrow vision where I'm going to go study, become a doctor, and come back to my town and practice medicine. You'll have a lot of opportunities in front of you. You will not know what to choose. Shall I go to Australia? Shall I go to Dubai? Shall I go to Spain, for example? Shall I go back to the UK? So do be brave, and you will see they're very friendly, the people out there as well. And it's really safe. This is something that is important. I think if you speak with any of the students, it's extremely safe. No one will bother you. There's a lot of students around, and people are used to students being around and foreigners, and they do like to see foreigners as well. So I hope that covers a lot about the rotations, because I know they're quite a big subject and you get guys a lot of questions. So if there are more questions, please ask them. I'll try to address them in more specific terms if you guys like.
Brilliant. Thank you, Dr. Sam. So Savannah in the comments is also asking us if she joins in the 3rd year as a graduate entry student, like many other students who will also be watching right now, will graduate entry students have access to year 1 and 2 resources? I'll let Amy answer this.
Hi, Savannah. Don't you worry, everything will be fine. So all the resources from year 1 to year 6 are on the portal. So all the subject resources are nicely organized there for you, and you can catch up. But as a graduate medical student, most of your degree, so depending on what your previous degree was, will probably cover all the basic biology and chemistry knowledge you need to know. I did medical biochemistry at the university, and so far I've been finding that everything I know already, so it's just about revising it. And also Medlink do provide resources, other lectures online as well, and they also give you access to KenHub, which is especially great for anatomy and histology, which I personally didn't cover in my undergraduate degree. So you've also got access to that. And So I wouldn't worry about that. There's really, if you've got background knowledge, there's not much to catch up on. It's just about revision as such. And if you do struggle, the resources are always there. And Medlink can also put you in contact with younger students in year 1 and 2 if you need help from them.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you, Amy. That's really insightful. Edmund, we haven't heard from you in a while. We'll allow you to answer some questions as well. So thanks, of course, to helping. Thanks to Edmund, lots of students have learned a lot about studying medicine abroad and the opportunity available to them. So some students are asking, with regards to the tuition fees, they seem lower than other universities. Do you think this compromises the quality of the education depending on the tuition fee?
Not at all. Not at all. In fact, a lot of the students that go abroad are attracted to a lot of things abroad, like the quality of education, the living style, the style of living, the exposure to different cultures, because you're going from one end where you're used to another environment that you're not. Now, the universities actually have different fees due to the fact that it's just based on the what do you call it? The just trying to think of the word now. They have the tuition fees just based on the lifestyle and the currency that they have in terms of where they are. So, for example, in Poland, the tuition fees are anything from up to £10,000 onwards, and that's because of the standard of living there. So the living costs tend to be quite high. Now, it just really varies on the country to country. In the UK, years ago, we had tuition fees of £3,000, which is now 9,500. Now, that has nothing to do with the actual quality. It just means that, times do change and the tuition fees then tend to go up. But it doesn't compromise on the quality of education. Take Romania, for example. Tuition fees start from €5,000. And that means that you'll still receive the same quality education if you were in the US. And as you know, the human body doesn't change where you study. Where you'll study in Harvard, the human body will still be the same if you studied in Mumbai, So everyone's learning from the same textbooks, everyone's referencing from the same research materials. Come abroad, come and enjoy it. Experience what is life living abroad. You'll meet other people who are just like you, who have the same story, and you'll meet these people and you'll be friends with them for life. You end up working in the hospitals with them. So the quality doesn't change whether the tuition fees are low. It just means that the standard of living in that country might not be as high as others. That's all it is.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you, Edmund. That's really helpful. We are having so many, every time I find the question, 10 more pop up. So I'm really struggling to keep the screen still. Safety in Ukraine. Amy, you've been to Ukraine, right? And you made a video, I believe, about Ukraine. Can you tell us as a girl?
Ukraine.
Yeah.
Yes, guys, it was amazing. I went for a week to register, and I'm so glad I did go because I'm so excited about moving in now. In terms of safety, guys, so compared to the UK, I feel safer. I went to university in Leicester, which I was always a bit scared about going around big city. But in Ukraine, I felt safe all the time. I even went on the tram, which is like their public transport. And I was on the tram at like 11 o'clock at night, and it was fine. And there were still people about, and I didn't feel unsafe at all. And yeah, if you're out somewhere, there's literally Ubers everywhere. They have their own taxis as well, and they're all super safe. If you're in trouble, you've got Google Maps, and in general, the whole university and the hospitals are kind of all in the same area. And I'm starting to look at accommodation too now, and all the accommodation I'm looking at is really close to the Union City anyway. So you don't really need to travel out that much, and where you do travel, things are all around you, shops, taxis, you've got everything there. You don't have to worry about safety, guys. Although my mum is also always already planning my fire route plan. I don't know.
Yeah, brilliant, Amy. That is really cool. Thank you for sharing that. One more thing I want to ask you as well. How was your experience with our physical office that is present on the ground in Dnipro?
Medlink are great guys. I mean, Edmund was obviously amazing from the start, but the Medlink office are really great guys. They help you every step of the way. So they met me at the airport, picked me up, took me to my hotel. Then in the morning, they took me to the office straight away to start the registration process. Then they gave me a tour around the campus and a bit around the city. And then I got to have a free meal in the restaurant. And then they helped me the next day with the whole registration and getting my biometrics and everything done. And also they were arranging different. They arranged. I met Barbara and what is your name? He's gone now. The other one.
Ben.
And Ben, that's it. I did meet them. We went to like a restaurant and it was really nice. And basically when I was exploring Ukraine, if I had any problems, I just contacted the Medlink office, and it was really great just to know they were there. So I think when I eventually go to the uni there, it's just gonna, if I have any problems, obviously Edmund is on speed dial, but you have the office right there as well. It's really great. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you for sharing your experience, Amy. That is awesome. I'm glad you had a great time there. It seems like we've gone overboard and we're getting lots and lots of questions. If we don't get a chance to answer your question, then just go on the website, send us a message. We're more than happy to help you and give you as much insight as we can. We're all doctors, medical students, dentists. Everything that we do for you guys to help you and make sure that you have a fantastic experience and you are fully informed about every little fact that you need to know. So if you haven't had your question answered, just hop on the website and just ask us, and we're more than happy to answer them for you. We'll answer one or two more questions. So one question says, why is there no lab work in the first 3 years, especially chemistry and biology? Now, of course, with online studies, you are making a compromise and you have to understand this. If you feel like you would rather have practicals and hands-on experience with regards to theory and any knowledge from that aspect and have face-to-face physical relationships, then you are always welcome to try out the online course. And if you feel like you want more, then you are more than welcome to just come to Dnipro. It's very easy to transition between the online to the physical. So you're not restricted. If you sign up for online, you can come to do the practicals and we can organize these for you. I'd like to ask Dr. Sam if you have any information or input that you'd like to add to this.
Regarding the first 3 years of medicine, so you're talking about the first year basically involves, I'll just talk about the main subjects which are part of medicine. There's a lot of subjects that are pretty irrelevant in the first 3 years to your medical career, shall I say, who are just added there for legal purposes. One of the main subjects is anatomy, biochemistry, and then you have biophysics. Now, biophysics, you don't really need to have the practicals, even though they are possible. As a medical doctor, I'm saying that, unless you want to specialize in this kind of medical equipment field. Now, with biochemistry also, there's not really that much you can do. A lot of the lab work is really pharmacy or research based. So if really in the future you want to be involved in medical research and stuff like that, is something you will learn, maybe with microbiology as well. So there are really basic things that you probably will be able to pick up very easily. They're not really necessary. The only one I would say that is important regarding practical work is anatomy. And that's why anatomy, you need to really know your anatomy as a medical doctor, because especially like, for example, I'm a dermatologist and I do a lot of aesthetic procedures. So I really need to know where your veins go, where your arteries are. So when I'm injecting different kind of substances into your face, I need to be aware of that. And in general, as a medical doctor, you need to be aware of all the nerves, how they are connected in between the different organs, to be able to analyze a lot of different diseases, such as the vagus nerve, which reaches like part of your stomach and things like that. So with anatomy, even though you will not be able online to see a corpse, you will definitely be able to work with 3D models which have been arranged. And a lot of universities around the world do not provide any more human corpses like for you to practice on. So online is pretty much, and it is much better. I prefer to do it online with the 3D models, because you can actually remove different organs and see the different layers and the trajectories of the different veins and nerves and arteries. So that's a compensation for the online. So you can really use all these 3D models to learn. Other things I don't really remember, except for microbiology, maybe a little bit of lab work with Petri dishes or cell biology. Or physiology, there's not really any lab work that I think is essential or important. That's my own personal opinion, even though it is added on your curriculum. I think a lot of people would support what I say. So the things you're missing out are really research based, or pretty much they are involving other specialties and other kind of jobs. So mainly I would concentrate on anatomy, and the anatomy you have the 3D models, so you can see all the different organs, different sizes, you can remove, put things together. Feel free to go in and play around with the 3D models, and you'll see they are very useful, and they are sufficient in my opinion.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you, Dr. Sam. So yes, just to add to that, yes, there are lots of videos, lots of practical videos as well that explain procedures. For example, how to inoculate bacteria in microbiology. You can learn this with a pre-recorded video on the portal. There's lots and lots of, there's a wealth of information. And there are lots of helpful students as well that you will be added to WhatsApp groups, Facebook groups, and be put in touch through the portal with students. So you can always ask the students that are on the ground what they are studying, what they are learning. If you feel like you'd like to just come and drop by for a week and enter a classroom and see what the practicals are like, you're always welcome, like I said. So it's really straightforward to transition back and forth. The practicals are compensated for with videos, and this is the best compensation that can be given with regards, especially with regards to the pandemic and keeping students safe and making sure that students are not going to be in laboratories in cramped conditions. So in that aspect, the 3D anatomy models as well compensates for anatomy. So you can dissect in 3D on the website. It's interactive. It's really cool. It's amazing to try out and play around with, and you can go from the most superficial layers to the deepest layers in the body and just dissect away every section that you'd like. So Edmund, do you have any final words before we go about applying?
Yeah, obviously, as we always say, you know, it never really hurts to pick up the phone and speak to us, because when we have a conversation with you, we can better understand you. You know, we have so many universities out there that really fits your personality, what you're looking for. And also, you know, the universities are actually opening the applications as of now. So you can actually apply any moment now for your seat for next year. For the graduate entry students, people that are thinking about doing the advanced course, applications are open now. Let's have a chat. Let's talk about your options, and let's help you. Whether you are a mature student, whether you've just finished your degree, let's have a chat and let's really help you. Because, hey, in the UK, it's difficult. We all know this, and we know it's harsh. The requirements are tough. So let's have a look and see what we can do to help you. And applications are open. So let's have a chat, essentially. All right. And we look forward to welcoming you guys next year, hopefully, whether it's Dnipro, whatever that might be.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you, Edmund. Dr. Sam?
Yes, I think a final note would be good to say that don't worry about it. Like, what Eden just said, the UK is harsh. It's not about the UK wants to be harsh and not let people practice medicine, or the quality is less somewhere else and is better in the UK. It's just the UK has so many applications. There are limited amount of universities. There's around 8,000 seats available, I think, in the UK, or maybe less than that. And there are almost 30 to 40,000 applicants per year. So you're very likely to compete 1 to 4 or something like that, 1 to 5. So the universities cannot give everybody in the UK a place. But being able to study in English, I think that's the main thing, studying in English. Imagine you had to come abroad. When I came here, I found many of the elder doctors who came from foreign countries to study here. They had to do a foundation year, to study a whole year of, let's say, Ukrainian or Russian. And then after that, study 6 years in Russian, the Russian language. Like now we have such a great opportunity, the fact that we can study in English, the professors go out of their way to teach you in a foreign tongue, basically, for them. A lot of students sometimes complain and say, oh, the teacher, you know, he doesn't speak great English, but at least they're trying to teach us in a foreign language when they're used to speaking every day Russian or Romanian or Bulgarian, whatever it is, with their patients. I mean, they sit there translating for you what they spoke with their patients. That's how nice they are. And this opportunity, I think, is wonderful. It's started to become more and more popular in the last 10 years, I think. Before, if you were in the UK, you would never step foot in Europe. You would be terrified, like, oh my God, I will never go there. You would rather go, like Amy said, like study another subject or just go for that backup option and miss out on the opportunity to become what you want, really. And you want to be a doctor. And the sad part about the UK, even though every year they require 14,000 doctors to enter the system, only 8 actually graduate from the UK. So they're always at a loss. So every year they need 6,000 from abroad. And now with the UK leaving the EU, less and less doctors are going to flock from the EU to the UK to work. So there's going to be, like, already there are a lot of spaces to work in the UK as a medical doctor. Hospitals are begging doctors to come and work. And because conditions have improved a lot, salaries have increased quite a lot all over Europe, and European doctors no longer are like going so much to the UK to work. So there are so much spaces for you guys to go graduate and go back to the UK. The GMC, I believe, will make it much, much easier for people to register, especially the ones who have a good command of the English language. So you shouldn't have any problem going back, getting a job, because there are loads of jobs everywhere. You can even go on NHS jobs and see how many posts are opening up pretty much every week, everywhere, and not that many applicants. A lot of them have 1 or 2 applicants applying. Being able as well to study online. It's a sad thing COVID came around, but anyway, Dnipro was planning to do an online course irrelevant of COVID. And as I said, we were anyway in plans. We're speaking with the hospitals, even universities in the UK, to teach people like in the UK who are worried, so worried to leave the UK, to be able to give them the opportunity to study and become doctors. So it is a great opportunity. I'm glad a lot of you are looking into it. Do pursue it, do follow it through, because once you put your foot through the door, you will just hit the ground running. Like Amy said, like she's so excited. I guess she started online and she was one of those, and then she just had a look, and then she's like, you know what, let me go and try it out. And you'll love it, Amy, you'll enjoy. And do see the people are really friendly, really helpful, and they go out of their way. As I said, they're speaking English, a foreign tongue, to teach you. So what more can we ask for? And it's much cheaper as well than studying in the UK. And you go back with a wealth of knowledge, a lot of confidence. That's something I used to see in my rotations, like compared to the UK graduates, we had so much more confidence because you've gone to a foreign country, you've like put yourself about, you've learned all these different techniques and different examinations, and you come back with a wealth of knowledge, and you've tried really hard, and you do stand out. So you will do really well. I wish you the best as well, and we look forward to hearing from you as well. And have a lovely evening. It's been a long Saturday. So I'll pass to Osman to finalize if there's anything else that needs to be said.
All right. I'm afraid we couldn't answer all the questions. There's lots of questions here. There's hundreds of them. So If you have any more questions that you'd like to ask us, just text us or call us anytime. We try to be as available as much as possible. You can contact us as well on the following information here. Our Australian representatives, our UK representatives, in America as well. This is a New York number, in Ireland and Canada. And you can email us as well on the email below, or you can just hit us up on any of our social media. We are very active. We're always trying to reach you guys and trying to offer you as much as we can with regards to value, knowledge, and our experience, because that is the sole purpose of our existence with regards to Medlink students. We started this just to help you and make sure you have as much opportunity and support as possible. Whatever we can do to help you, we are more than happy to do. Even if it's just to get advice from us, we'll always try to give you as much information to inform you and make sure that you make an objective decision on what is best for you and for your future. So stay in touch with us. We'll be holding webinars regularly, and we're really excited to hear from you guys and help you hopefully on your journey. And I hope we've demonstrated how much we are really enthusiastic about giving you information, because that is what we do, what we have. Whatever we have, we try to give to you for free and present to you as much information as we have, so you can make a really good, well-informed decision. So contact us, get in touch with us. We're really excited to speak to you. We have a huge team of advisors working alongside Edmund. And we have awesome students as well in Dnipro, like Amy and the others. And we have an amazing admissions team as well, and student support team like Victoria here. So get in touch and speak to you guys soon. Take care.